All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been creating a series of video presentations based off of the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I am coming towards the end. I'm in server-side website programming, and we're on the Express Web Framework with Node.js and JavaScript. And this is our Express Node introduction. And as it says, it'll answer the what is Node, what is Express, and give you an overview of what makes the Express Web Framework special by outlining the main features and showing you some of their building blocks. All right. So again, this is the typical kind of stock that you'd get from a thing that says Node is an open source cross-platform runtime environment that allows developers to create all kinds of server-side tools and applications in JavaScript. Breaking that down and making it as simple as possible, Node allows you to run JavaScript on the server, period. I mean, that's the simplest way that I can look at it. As it says, the runtime is intended for use outside of a browser context. As such, the environment omits browser-specific JavaScript APIs and adds support for more traditional OS APIs, including HTTP and file system libraries. From a web server development perspective, Node has a number of benefits. Great performance. It was designed to optimize throughput and scalability and is a good solution for many common web development problems. It's written in what's sometimes called POJO. In other words, it uses plain old JavaScript objects. So less time is spent dealing with going between different languages because you're using the same language on both the client side and the server side. JavaScript is a relatively new programming language and benefits from improvements in language design when compared to other traditional web server languages. Okay. The NPM or Node Package Manager provides access to hundreds of thousands of reusable packages. I'd agree with that. Node.js is portable. It's available in Windows, Mac, Linux, Solaris, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, WebOS, and non-OS types of environments. Furthermore, it is well supported by many web hosting providers. Finally, it has a very active third-party ecosystem and developer community with lots of people who are willing to help. You can use Node.js to create a simple web server using the Node HTTP package. So I think what they're going to do here is basically create a simple hello world type of thing with Node. So the following example creates a web server that listens for any kind of HTTP request on port 8000 of the user's machine. When such a request is received, the script will respond with the string hello world. If you've already installed Node, which I have, you can follow these steps to try out the example. We will install Node, I will uninstall it, and we will install it as a class. In fact, let's just do that right now. And if I have to do it again later, not a problem at all. So, Control Panel. Let's find our Node under Programs and Features. And only about a month old, but that's still okay. It's 14.16.1. I'm going to uninstall it. Boom. That literally is all it is to the uninstall. And you'll notice as soon as this gets done that where it says Node.js here, it will be gone. Remember, 82.5 meg and 14.16.1. And it's gone. All right, so let's go back in and say Node.js download. And we will find that under Node.js, nodejs.org download. Again, it's already figured out that it needs the window installer, which is what I want anyway. So we got that. I will create open when done. It'll probably beep at me, telling me that I need admin permissions in order to be able to open this. And again, notice it's 14.7 where I had 14.6.1. All right, it didn't give me that. So it says next, accept the license agreement, next, put it in program files, next, take all the defaults, next. Sure. Next, click install. Now it's asking me for permission. That's it. That was our foray into the installation process. All right. Now it's coming in here and it's bringing me up in PowerShell. I don't need PowerShell, but when this gets done, this is that chocolatey. All right. And I'm not even sure exactly what that is. I've seen it in books before. So it's installing that. I'm going to let that finish. And while it does, let's just jump back in. So we're going to run through this. It says open a terminal. Create a folder that you want to save. For example, test node. So let's just create that folder while we're waiting for this to finish. You can see that it's still working. So I'm going to come in here and right mouse click, make a new folder, call it test node as they said, open that up, and I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to open git bash here. That's what I'm going to use for my terminal. So there it is. All right, it says the download is completed. It's checking a few other things out. Well, it's even put some Python in here, which I didn't really want, but that's not a problem. Don't actually think I would have needed that chocolatey, so when we do this as a class, I'm probably not going to install that. Tell you what, I'll pause this until it finishes up. All right, that didn't take too long. So I'm going to come in and do this. So I've created my test node just so you see it. I think you already have, but just so you'd have. There it is. So there's the test node. Let's move that over here and see if we can keep that up there while we're working here. So create the folder. I've done that. Using your favorite text editor, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Create a file called hello.js and paste the following code into it. Now, you should know this already, all right? But when I come in here, I'm going to type in touch hello.js. So now if I do an ls, there's my file. All right, I'm going to bring that up in Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to copy this entire thing into it. And after we've copied that in, we can take a look at it. So let me close this. No, and close this. And we'll do a file, open folder. From the desktop, it was called test node. Okay, so there's the folder, and there's our hello.js. So we're pasting that in. All right, now, it says it failed to load JS lint. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So a couple things. Okay, as it mentions here, this is a built-in package in Node that's called HTTP. Quite often when you add these things, you create a variable as a constant because it won't be changing, and you use the same name as the package for your variable name. Our host name is our local machine, 127.0.0.1. Our port that we're going to use to run this on is port 8000. All right. And it's saying here that we want to create a server. So what you should notice is all of this stuff here, it is basically calling create server, and it's taking the results of this and it's putting it into a variable called server. So this is all of it right here. So what is it saying right there? Well, some of this you've seen before. It's telling us that we're going to have a 200, meaning that it should work. We're returning plain text, and that plain text basically that we're returning is hello world. All right. Now this says that once we start up Node, it should say server up and running at port 8000. So that's the whole program. So I'm going to save this. And all I have to do to begin this is to say node followed by the name of my file, which was hello. I can say hello or hello.js. Either one will be fine. There's my message that it's running right there. So I've got actually three choices. I can grab this. All right, I can grab that. Oh, don't know why it stopped it, but it did. All right, so I can grab it and open up a new window in here and paste that in and hit enter. And I get hello world, just kind of what you thought. Or instead of the HTTP, as it says here, I can just type in the loopback address without the HTTP, so just that, and hit enter. All right, or the way that I'm going to do it, the way it's typically done, is you can type in localhost : and then the port number, which is 8000. And again, I get my hello world. So what we've done so far has worked. So save the file. And again, you can either type in node hello or node hello.js because it defaults to a JavaScript file. And I navigated over there. Okay, so that worked. Other common web development tasks are not directly supported by Node itself. If you want to add specific handling for different HTTP verbs, get, post, delete, put, etc., separately handle requests at different URL paths, serve static files, or use templates to create the response, Node won't be able to do it on its own. Either you'll need to write the code yourself, or as it says, why reinvent the wheel? Use a web framework. And that basically is, as you're going to find right now, that's what Express is all about. I'll continue on with that in the next lecture.